October 25, 1944. The Philippine Sea churns with hundreds of warships in brutal combat. American carriers burn. Destroyers charge into suicide runs. It's the Battle of Leyte Gulf. But let's change one thing. Cutting through the Surigao Strait appears to be something no one understands. A 9,700-ton guided missile destroyer from 2023, the USS Arleigh Burke Flight 3, dropped into a battle it wasn't built for. Can it stop the Imperial Japanese Navy? Or is it just one ship against more than 60? The Arleigh Burke isn't ordinary. It's 509 feet of steel and circuits, representing 80 years of technological evolution compressed. Powered by 4 gas turbines generating 100,000 horsepower, pushing speeds over 35 knots. The main arsenal, 96 vertical launch cells, each loaded with devastating modern weaponry. SM-6 and SM-2 surface-to-air missiles, Tomahawk cruise missiles with 1,000-kilometer range. The ship's brain, AN/SPY-6 radar, tracking hundreds of targets simultaneously through any conditions. Electronic warfare systems, torpedo tubes with homing weapons, and a precise 5-inch gun. But Admiral Kurita's center force is no pushover. Leading his charge, Yamato and Musashi, the 2 largest battleships ever built, each displacing 72,000 tons with massive 18.1-inch guns. One good hit expected to delete an enemy destroyer. Supporting them, 3 more battleships, 10 heavy cruisers bristling with 8-inch guns and oxygen-powered long-lance torpedoes. 15 destroyers screen the giants, ready to launch torpedo spreads meant to crack ships. Veteran warships crewed by men who've fought across the Pacific for years with practiced precision. Combined with Admiral Nishimura's Southern Force, the Japanese throw over 60 warships at Leyte. It's their last roll of the dice. They will succeed here or watch their empire crumble. 3:00 a.m. south of Samar, the Arleigh Burke's SPY-6 radar locks onto Kurita's force, 150 kilometers north. Every ship is tracked, catalogued, and assigned a threat priority before they know. In 1944, the Japanese are effectively blind. No radar, only lookouts with binoculars. The captain aboard the Burke doesn't hesitate. Weapons free. The first Tomahawk missile erupts. 6 cruise missiles streak north at 900 kilometers per hour, 50 feet above the waves. No lookout can spot them in darkness. Aboard Yamato, Admiral Ugaki reviews battle plans. His flagship simply explodes. The Tomahawk punches through the superstructure and detonates inside. The blast obliterates the nerve center. Within seconds, the pride of the Imperial Navy burns. It's enough to make hardened soldiers lose hope 4 hours before they'd reach battle stations. Musashi takes 2 hits, one in the forward magazine and one in the engine room. The ship burns. The first turns her bow into a steel inferno. The second kills propulsion, leaving her dead. The horizon is still pitch black. The 2,500-man crew was out of commission before the battle started. The Japanese fleet dissolves into chaos. Ships collide in darkness, trying to avoid explosions. Radio channels flood with panicked reports of submarines, mines, or ghost bombers attacking them. Nobody comprehends that one destroyer 150 kilometers away just decapitated their battle line. By dawn, when American carriers would have launched planes, Kurita's center force is crippled, and the Arleigh Burke isn't done. The destroyer races north at 35 knots toward them. Japanese float planes finally spotted, a lone gray shape slicing through morning seas. Kurita's surviving ships move to engage what they think is a 1940s American cruiser. At 75 kilometers, the Burke opens up with a barrage of SM-6 missiles streaking out. The heavy cruiser Chokai disintegrates when a Mach 3.5 missile hits her bridge directly. Suzuya is hit as well. Its ammunition magazines detonate in a massive blaze seconds later. Japanese 8-inch shells begin falling around the destroyer as every ship targets it. But hitting a target moving at 35 knots from 40 kilometers away proves challenging. Japanese gunnery, excellent by 1944 standards, becomes guesswork against the modern destroyer's speed. The Burke's 5-inch guns begin to fire. Radar-guided shells airburst over Japanese destroyers, shredding their bridge crews with tungsten rain. Without orders or coordination, smaller ships scatter. Meanwhile, 200 kilometers south, Admiral Nishimura's southern force pushes into Surigao Strait aiming to flank. Instead, they sail right into the lone destroyer's killing field and are immediately identified. The Burke launches a spread of 8 Tomahawks as Japanese ships maneuver the narrow strait. The battleship Fuso splits in half when 3 missiles make contact with devastating precision. Yamashiro burns from bow to stern. The destroyer Michishio takes a catastrophic direct hit. The surviving Japanese destroyers launch desperate torpedo spreads, but Burke's sonar tracks everyone simultaneously. The Burke dances between torpedoes at 35 knots, but missiles are finite and running low. As morning breaks, far north in the Philippine Sea, Admiral Ozawa's decoy carrier force appears. 4 carriers with barely 100 planes between them, just a shadow of Pearl Harbor glory. They launch everything they have. Burke's remaining SM-2s and ESSMs strike skyward, creating a death umbrella. Japanese Zeros and Kate torpedo bombers begin exploding 50 kilometers out, then 30, then 10. The few that make it to attack range meet the Phalanx CIWS, a Gatling gun spitting 4,500 rounds per minute. A brave Zero pilot, trailing smoke, aims for the bridge. The Phalanx tracks him automatically. In 2 heartbeats, a wall of tungsten turns the pilot and plane into falling scrap. With air threats neutralized and missiles depleted, Burke closes on carriers with her gun. From 15 kilometers, radar-guided shells fire at Zuikaku, aimed at her aviation fuel bunkers. The carrier that launched the Pearl Harbor attack bursts into flames across her entire length. The Zuiho and Chitose follow, their unarmored decks no match for modern ammunition. By noon on October 25th, the Battle of Leyte Gulf is over completely. The Imperial Japanese Navy has ceased to exist as a fighting force across the Pacific. 4 battleships, including both Yamato-class giants, are gone, sunk in the Philippine waters. 4 carriers burn on the seafloor. Dozens of cruisers and destroyers litter the waters. The Americans' only loss was ammunition. 1 modern destroyer changed the entire battle outcome. If you're curious what would happen if a modern carrier fought at Pearl Harbor, check out that video. Thanks for watching this alternate history exploration of modern naval power versus World War II. This scenario demonstrates the incredible technological advancement in naval warfare over 80 years of development. From mechanical systems and visual targeting to computers, radar, and guided missiles with precision. 1 ship with modern technology defeating an entire World War II fleet. Thanks for watching.